There are places we're not supposed to know about. Secrets that billion-dollar corporations bury under tons of concrete and manufactured smiles. Disneyland, the happiest place on earth. But beneath your feet, while you're watching fireworks and hugging cartoon characters, there's a labyrinth. A network of tunnels where employees disappear, where corridors lead to places that don't exist on official maps, where something watches through deactivated security cameras. This story is based on reports from former employees who violated confidentiality agreements and were never seen again. Their testimonies were leaked anonymously. Their videos were found months after they vanished. And what they discovered down there changed everything we thought we knew about the park. If you're interested in stories that reveal the dark side behind perfect facades, subscribe to the channel. You're going to need it, because once you know what's down there, you can't unknow it. Let's begin. Marcus Chun was 28 when he got the job. Maintenance engineer for the utilidors, the underground tunnels beneath Disneyland. He was excited. Good pay, benefits, working for one of the biggest companies in the world. On paper, it was perfect. His first day was a Tuesday, October 15th. The orientation was different from any job he'd had before. They made him sign documents, pages and pages of confidentiality agreements. Standard procedure, they said. But the language was specific, threatening almost. Violations would result in immediate termination and legal action. He signed anyway. Everyone did. The utilidors were exactly what they sounded like. Utility corridors. Concrete tunnels painted institutional beige, fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, pipes running along the ceiling. Cast members in costume walked through them to get from one area of the park to another without being seen by guests. It was efficient, practical, nothing magical about it down there. Marcus's supervisor was a man named Ron. 50s, balding, permanent frown. Ron gave him the rules on the first walkthrough. Stay on authorized routes. Don't wander. Don't explore. Some areas are off-limits for safety reasons. If you see a door marked with a red triangle, don't open it. Ever. Those are old sections, structurally unsound. And never, under any circumstances, go down to the third level. Marcus stopped walking. Third level? I thought there were only 2 levels down here. Ron didn't look at him. Officially, there are. Forget I mentioned it. Just stay where you're assigned. You'll be fine. That first week was uneventful. Marcus fixed lighting, checked electrical panels, replaced breakers. The tunnels were busier during the day. Cast members rushing between sections, maintenance crews hauling equipment, managers barking into radios. At night, it was different, quieter. The fluorescent lights seemed dimmer. The air felt heavier. He met David on his 5th night shift. David was in his 40s, thin, with dark circles under his eyes. He'd worked there for 12 years. He was smoking near a service elevator, even though it was against policy. When Marcus approached, David looked at him like he was seeing a ghost. "You're new." "Yeah. Started last week." David took a long drag, exhaled slowly. "How long you planning to stay?" "As long as I can, I guess. It's good money." David laughed, but there was no humor in it. "They all say that. Then they find out." "Find out what?" David dropped his cigarette, crushed it under his boot. "About the old expansions. The accidents they didn't report. The sections they sealed off. You ever wonder why there are so many cameras down here?" Marcus looked up. There were cameras everywhere. Every intersection, every corridor. But something was off. Several of them were covered with black cloth. Others were pointed at walls. A few had been physically turned away from the hallways. Why are they covered? David started walking away. Because there are things they prefer not to record. Marcus wanted to ask more, but David disappeared around a corner. He didn't see him again for days. The next night, Marcus noticed something else. The doors with red triangles. There were more of them than he'd realized. Some were rusted shut. Others had chains and padlocks, layers of them, old and new. One door had scratch marks on the metal, long gouges like someone had clawed at it from the other side. He asked another worker about it, a woman named Sandra who'd been there for 3 years. "What's behind those doors?" She didn't stop walking. "Nothing. Old storage. Forgotten spaces. Don't worry about it. But her voice was too quick. Too dismissive. That night, Marcus couldn't sleep. He searched online. Disneyland secrets. Underground tunnels. Hidden levels. Most of it was conspiracy theory nonsense. But then he found the forums. Obscure message boards, buried deep in search results. Posts from people claiming to be former employees. One thread was titled, "If you work the utilidors, read this." The first post was from 2017. Username, Castaway91. I worked maintenance for 4 years. They'll tell you there are 2 levels. There are 3. The third one is older. Much older. From before the modern expansions. They sealed it off in the 70s after something happened. I don't know what, but they don't talk about it. And if you ask too many questions, you disappear. Not fired. Disappeared. I'm posting this because I'm leaving the country. If you're reading this and you work there, don't go down. Don't look for it. Forget it exists. The post had 63 replies. Marcus scrolled through them. Other people claiming they'd heard rumors. Seen sealed doors. Found old maps that showed areas that didn't match current layouts. One reply stood out. Posted by a user called Lost Level. I went down. Found the stairs behind door J7. The third level is real. It's not empty. If you hear children laughing from inside the walls, run. Don't look back. Don't try to help them. Just run. The user never posted again. The account went inactive in November 2019. Marcus closed his laptop. His hands were shaking. He told himself it was just internet nonsense. Urban legends. Bored employees making up stories. But when he went back to work the next night, he couldn't stop thinking about it. And that's when he started noticing the patterns. 3 weeks into the job, Marcus was assigned to fix a power issue in Section G. Electrical short somewhere in the lower tunnels. He followed the circuit map, tracing the cables along the ceiling. The corridors got narrower, older. The paint on the walls was faded, peeling in places. The lights flickered. He turned a corner and stopped. There was a door at the end of the hallway. Heavy steel. No markings. No red triangle. Just a door that shouldn't be there according to his map. And it was chained shut. Not with modern locks. These were old, rusted, layered over each other like someone had kept adding more over the years. Marcus approached slowly. His flashlight beam cut through the darkness. The chains were covered in dust. No one had opened this door in a long time. But through the gap between the door and the frame, he could see something. Stairs. Descending into blackness. He leaned closer. Cold air drifted up from below. It smelled wrong. Chemical. Sweet almost. Like old cleaning products mixed with something rotten. And then he heard it. A sound from below. Metal scraping against concrete. Rhythmic. Deliberate. Like something being dragged. Marcus stepped back. His heart was pounding. The sound stopped. Silence. He waited. Breath held. Listening. Nothing. He turned and walked away. Fast. Not running, but close. He didn't look back. When he got back to the main section, Ron was there, clipboard in hand. You fixed the breaker? Yeah. All set. Ron nodded, made a note. You go off route? No. Ron looked at him. Really looked at him. Like he was searching for something. Good. Stay on route. Always. That night, Marcus went back to the forums. He searched for door J7, the one mentioned in the old post. He found blueprints leaked years ago by an anonymous source. Unofficial maps of the utilidors. And there it was. Section G. Door J7. Marked with a notation. Sealed. Do not open. Authorized personnel only. But the blueprints showed something else. Something that wasn't on the official maps. A third level. Older construction. Dated to 1967. An entire network of rooms and corridors beneath the main tunnels. And a note in the margin. Handwritten. Dreamscape Project. Discontinued. Marcus searched for Dreamscape Project. Nothing. No results. No information. Scrubbed from the internet. He found more forum posts. People asking about disappearances. Employees who quit suddenly. a maintenance worker named David Reeves who vanished in 2021. His family filed a missing person report. The investigation went nowhere. Disneyland's official statement: he resigned and moved out of state, but his family said he never told them. Never called. Just gone. Marcus felt cold. David, the guy he'd met, thin, nervous, dark circles under his eyes. He searched the name, found an old Facebook profile, inactive since March 2021. The last post was a photo of a Disneyland employee badge. The caption, 12 years. Not sure how many more. The profile was still active, but no one had posted to it. No friends had written on his wall. It was like he'd been erased. Marcus messaged 3 people who were listed as David's friends. 2 accounts were deleted. One responded, "Don't ask about David. Please, just don't." The next day, Marcus went to work early. He asked Sandra if she knew David Reeves. She went pale. "I don't know anyone by that name. But you've been here 3 years. He worked here for 12. She walked away. Wouldn't look at him. Marcus found David's locker. B47. It was empty, cleaned out. But when he ran his hand along the back shelf, he felt something. A piece of paper, folded and wedged into a crack. He pulled it out. A note, handwritten. Rushed. "They know I know. If you're reading this, don't go to G. Don't open J7. The 3rd level isn't abandoned. They're still down there. And they're watching." Marcus felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. That night, he made a decision. He was going back. He had to know. What do you think so far? Is this getting under your skin? Are you starting to question what's real? Drop a comment below. Let me know if you'd investigate or if you'd walk away. Because Marcus didn't walk away. And that's when everything went wrong. Marcus waited until 2 in the morning. The graveyard shift. Fewer people in the tunnels. He brought his phone, a flashlight, and a crowbar. He told himself he'd just look. Just see what was behind the door. Then he'd leave. He made his way to Section G. The tunnels were almost empty. A janitor passed him, didn't make eye contact. A security guard walked by without saying a word. Everyone down there knew the rules. Don't see. Don't ask. He reached door J7. The chains were still there. But something was different. One of the padlocks was open, hanging loose, like someone had unlocked it recently. Marcus's hands were shaking. He pulled the chains free, slowly, trying to stay quiet. The metal rattled. Too loud. He froze, listening. No footsteps. No voices. He pulled the door open. It was heavy, the hinges screaming. The sound echoed down the corridor. Marcus winced. If anyone was nearby, they'd heard that. The stairs descended into darkness. Concrete steps, narrow and steep. The walls were rough, unfinished. This was older construction. Much older. The air coming up was frigid. That chemical smell was stronger now. Medicinal. Wrong. Marcus turned on his flashlight and started down. 1 step at a time. The temperature dropped with each step. His breath fogged in the beam of his light. 20 steps. 30. The stairwell seemed to go on forever. Finally, he reached the bottom. A corridor stretched out before him. Concrete floor, concrete walls. No paint. No signs. Just raw, cold stone. Fluorescent lights hung from the ceiling, but they were off. Dead. His flashlight was the only source of light. He moved forward. The corridor branched off into other hallways. Doors lined the walls. Some were open. Some were sealed with metal plates bolted into the concrete. Marcus checked the first open door. A storage room. Shelves covered in dust. Old equipment. Monitors from the 70s, boxy and outdated. Filing cabinets. He pulled one open. Empty. The next one too. Everything had been cleared out. He moved to the next door. Another room. This one had been an office. A desk. A chair. Papers scattered on the floor. He picked one up. A memo. Dated June 1974. The letterhead read, Dreamscape Project, Phase 3 Review. The text was faded, but he could make out fragments. Subject compliance remains high. Conditioning protocols effective. Recommend continuation of sensory integration trials. Incidents contained. No external exposure. Marcus felt his stomach turn. Subject compliance. Conditioning protocols. What the hell had they been doing down here? He took a photo of the memo with his phone. The camera flash lit up the room for a split second. And in that flash he saw something in the corner. A shape, human-sized. He spun around, shining his light. Nothing. Just shadows. He moved on. Deeper into the third level. The corridors twisted and turned. It was a maze. Marcus tried to keep track of where he'd been, but it was impossible. Every hallway looked the same. He found another room. Larger. The door was ajar. He pushed it open. The smell hit him immediately. Rot. Decay. Something dead. He covered his nose and stepped inside. It was an infirmary. Old hospital beds lined the walls. Rusted metal frames. Stained mattresses. Medical equipment covered in dust. And four trays of surgical instruments, corroded and brown. And on the wall, written in something dark and flaking, "They lied to us." Marcus backed out of the room. His heart was hammering. He should leave. This was wrong. All of it. But he kept going. He had to know. The next corridor had more rooms. He checked them one by one. Control room. Monitors lining the walls all smashed. Shattered glass everywhere. Wires hanging from the ceiling like dead vines. A break room. Tables and chairs overturned. A calendar on the wall, stuck on August 1976. And then he found the pile. Uniforms. Dozens of them. Disneyland maintenance uniforms. All heaped in the corner of a storage room. Old styles from different decades. All of them stained. Dark, crusted stains that looked like dried blood. Marcus felt bile rise in his throat. He stumbled back, his flashlight shaking. And that's when he heard it. Footsteps. Echoing from somewhere deeper in the corridors. Slow. Deliberate. He froze. Listening. The footsteps stopped. Silence. And then, a voice. His voice. "Hello? Anyone there?" It was his own words. From earlier. When he'd first entered the stairwell. His voice, echoing back to him from somewhere in the darkness. Marcus turned and ran. He didn't care about staying quiet. He ran back the way he came, his flashlight beam bouncing off the walls. The corridors twisted. He couldn't remember which way he'd gone. Left. Right. Another left. Everything looked the same. And then he heard it again. Footsteps. Faster now. Chasing him. He turned a corner and saw the stairs. The way out. He ran for it, his lungs burning. He reached the bottom step and started climbing. The footsteps behind him were getting closer. He could hear breathing. Ragged. Wrong. He reached the top. The door. He grabbed the handle and pulled. It didn't move. He pulled again. Locked. The door was locked from the other side. Marcus pounded on the metal, screaming. Someone had to hear him. Someone had to be out there. The footsteps stopped. Right behind him, at the bottom of the stairs. He turned, shining his light down. There was a figure, standing in the darkness. Human-shaped, but wrong. The proportions were off. Too tall, arms too long, and it was twitching, jerking, like a broken puppet. Marcus screamed. He threw his shoulder against the door. Once, twice. The metal didn't budge. The figure started climbing the stairs. Slow, methodical, one step at a time. Marcus's phone. He fumbled for it. Dialed 911. No signal. He was too deep. No reception. The figure was halfway up the stairs now. Close enough that Marcus could see details. It was wearing a Disneyland uniform. Old style. The fabric was rotted. And the face. Oh God, the face. It was human, but the skin was gray. Peeling. The eyes were open, but there was nothing behind them. Empty. Marcus screamed again, pounding on the door, kicking it. The metal rang out, but it didn't open. The figure reached the top step. Standing right in front of him, it opened its mouth, and Marcus's voice came out. "Help me. Please. Let me out." The flashlight fell from Marcus's hand. The beam spun across the floor, and then everything went dark. You're still watching. You've made it this far. Thank you, truly. Because what comes next, what they found in Marcus's footage, is something you won't believe. Something that proves this isn't just a story. This is real. And it's still happening. Stay with me. You need to see this. Marcus Chun was reported missing on October 23rd. His family filed a report after he didn't come home from his shift. Disneyland's official statement was standard. Marcus had resigned. Effective immediately. He'd expressed interest in relocating. They had no further information. But his family didn't believe it. Marcus had just started. He was excited about the job. He wouldn't leave without telling them. His mother called the police. They investigated. They questioned Disneyland's HR department. They checked his apartment. His car was still in the employee parking lot. His wallet was in his locker. But Marcus was gone. The investigation stalled. No evidence of foul play. No witnesses. Just another person who walked away from their life. Case closed. But 3 months later, a video appeared online. Uploaded anonymously to a file-sharing site. No description. No context. Just a file name. Utilidors_level3_final MP4. The video was 22 minutes long. Shot on a phone camera. The footage was shaky, dark, hard to watch. But it was clearly filmed in the tunnels beneath Disneyland. The timestamp matched the night Marcus disappeared. The video starts with Marcus descending the stairs. His breathing is loud in the audio. The camera swings around, showing the third-level corridors. He explores the rooms. The office. The infirmary. The pile of uniforms. Everything matches the testimonies. Everything is real. And then the video shows what happened next. The footsteps. Marcus running. The door at the top of the stairs. Locked. And the figure. The thing climbing toward him. The video is chaotic. The camera drops. The screen goes black. But the audio continues. Screaming. Marcus screaming. And then the sound of something dragging across concrete. Heavy. Wet. The screaming stops. Just the dragging sound. Echoing through the corridors. And then a voice. Not Marcus's voice. Something else. Whispering. Dreamscape. 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 The video cuts to static. And then one final image. A room. Concrete walls. No windows. No door visible. And in the center of the frame, a pile of employee uniforms. Fresh ones. Modern ones. And on top of the pile, Marcus's badge. Cracked. Covered in something dark. The video ends. The file was taken down within hours. But it had already been downloaded. Copied. Shared. People started asking questions. Former employees came forward. Anonymously, they talked about the third level. The disappearances. The things they'd seen and been told to forget. Disneyland denied everything. There is no third level. The video is a hoax. A cruel prank. Marcus Chun resigned and left California. They had documentation. They had records. But his family never heard from him. His phone was never used again. His bank account was never accessed. And when investigators tried to follow up, they hit walls. Disneyland's legal team blocked everything. Confidentiality agreements. Corporate policy. No access to personnel files. No access to the tunnels. No access to anything. The case went cold. Again. Marcus Chun became another name on a list of people who vanished without explanation. And the third level remained sealed. Locked away. Hidden beneath the happiest place on earth. But here's the thing. People still work down there. Maintenance crews. Engineers. Security. And sometimes late at night when the park is closed and the tunnels are quiet, they hear things. Footsteps in sealed corridors. Voices calling for help. Children laughing inside the walls. And when they report it, when they ask questions, they're reminded of their confidentiality agreements. They're told to stay en route, to forget what they heard, to keep smiling, because some secrets are too big to reveal. Some things are too valuable to risk, and some places were never meant to be found. Marcus's family still searches for him. They've hired private investigators. They've contacted journalists. But no one can get access. No one can dig deep enough. The story dies. Every time. Except here. With you. Watching this video. Knowing what's down there. Knowing that beneath the fireworks and the music and the magic, there's something else. Something old. Something wrong. And it's still there. So what do you think? What really happened to Marcus? What is the Dreamscape Project? And why are so many people willing to keep it secret? Leave your theories in the comments. Share this video. Let people know. Because the more people who know, the harder it is to bury. If you've made it this far, subscribe to the channel. Watch our latest video. We dig into places that don't want to be found. We tell stories that were meant to stay hidden. And we don't stop asking questions. But be careful. Because once you start looking, once you start asking, you might find something looking back. And some doors, once opened, can never be closed. The third level is real. And it's waiting.